Unless you're late to the game, you know that this is AG1, formerly known as athletic greens. Countless other YouTube humans have put their opinions on this green drink out on the internet, with some more qualified than others. I've been an AG1 user now for almost 2 years, and because I'm a sheep, I never really checked out what the hell I'm actually buying or what's even in it. I mean, why would I when I have this big dog telling me exactly what I should buy and what I need to drink? Damn, propaganda really does work, huh? Today, we're going to find out together. I'm going to take a look at every single ingredient that's supposed to be inside AG1, and then look under the microscope to find out if it's all actually in here in this one single scoop of green powder. And finally, come to a conclusion on this supposed super supplement based off of what we learned today, my personal 2-year consumption, as well as my college experience with nootropics and other brain-enhancing supplements. You most likely already know this, but AG1 touts itself as a replacement for any multivitamins, probiotics, and vegetables. Well, actually, technically not vegetables, but my fat ass treated it that way, so that's the perspective you're going to get today. The founders and marketing materials claim things like foundational nutrition, improved gut health, and increased energy. All this from just 32 ingredients. Or is it? To make sure we know what we're looking for, let's do a rapid-fire overview of all the things that are supposedly in AG1, their claimed benefits, and the research that backs up these claims. All studies will be linked in a document in the description. I'll try and make this as fast as possible. In our first and largest category, we have larger-ish organisms, acerola cherries, mostly just high in vitamin C as an antioxidant. Some studies also show potential for cancer therapy and skin health. Apples. No, an apple a day, in fact, does not keep the doctor away, but they do have prebiotics in them to help fuel the probiotics in their supplement stack. They are also linked to improved cardiovascular health, cancer prevention, and stress resistance. Maybe there is some truth to the phrase. Ashwagandha root. One of the more widely studied substances on this list, there is research suggesting it may improve cardiovascular performance, stress, and sleep quality, as well as help men shift into top gear, especially downstairs. This was actually one of the first supplements I ever started taking back in college. However, it should be noted that there is quite a big meme going around about ashwagandha disassociation. Apparently, many users start to feel disconnected from reality and their emotions after taking it. So if you're trying to do your best American Psycho impression, this is your go-to. Beetroot. AG1 says this is for foundational nutrition in general. Some research suggests the high concentration of daily nitrites may improve cardiovascular health and physical performance. Bilberry. I've literally never heard of this before, but apparently it's some sort of wild blueberry that AG1 claims is a known superfood. Research suggests potential benefits for diabetes management, gut health, and eye health.
The dirtier the better.
What can I say about these that hasn't already been said? I guess they're good for your eyes, but some people even use them to get a nice orange tan going. It's better than skin cancer. Cocoa bean. Besides making one of the most delicious treats on the planet, AG1 claims that cocoa bean, and I would presume the powder made from it, supports skin texture and combats the effects of aging. Eleuthero root? This is another quote-unquote adaptogen that I've never heard of before, but apparently it's similar to ashwagandha root and rhodiola, which I'll go over later. These are all supposed to help the body adapt to stress, and there is some research to support this. Ginger. Everybody's favorite soy sauce pairing. Ginger is actually a common supplement that I take myself. It has been shown to reduce blood pressure, inflammation, and improve digestive health. It has even shown the potential to prevent cancerous growths. Grasses. AG1 claims to have wheatgrass, alfalfa, and barley. These are mostly aimed at providing you with phytonutrients. These are mostly non-essential nutrients that most foods have some quantity of. They help protect cells against decomposition and attack, but are also important in supporting the immune system, gut function, and cardiovascular health. Licorice root. Besides being used to make the world's most vile candy, it has also been shown to improve neurological and liver health. But AG1 actually just describes it as another adaptogen.
If the papaya has no scent, it isn't ripe yet.
This phallic fruit is claimed by AG1 to support your skin and your gut health. However, more importantly, it can significantly increase your breast milk production. Reishi mushroom. This big fungus is a widely used form of ancient medicine, but it has recently been receiving more attention amongst the science people. And just listen to that name, reishi. It just sounds magical, doesn't it? What great branding on nature's part. Rhodiola root. This was the second supplement I ever took back in college. Back in the day, this stuff was alongside ashwagandha for the internet's top-performing brain-enhancing supplements. AG1 says this is just for general health combined with all the other ingredients, but it has also shown potential antiviral properties and supports the immune system. And now the final larger-ish organism, spirulina. This microalgae is actually what makes the drink so freaking green. It is the largest ingredient that is inside AG1, and it's supposed to support your gut microbiome and your immune system. Next, we have all the extracts and concentrates. Bromelain. This is a digestive enzyme that has been shown to improve digestion, which makes sense. Citrus bioflavonoids. This is just a fancy way of saying orange peel oils. There is some evidence to show that it helps the gut microbiome. Grapeseed extract. While this does sound quite disgusting, there is evidence that it apparently helps with aging and your gut health. Inulin. This is just a plant fiber that is often used as a prebiotic. Phospholipids. These are what make up the cell membrane that builds your cells. Your body can make these on its own, but I guess you get a little bit extra with AG1. Probiotics. These are bacteria and yeast that are often found in fermented foods like kombucha, and they have been shown to improve your gut health. Paired with the prebiotics that these probiotics eat, this supplement stack seems quite decent on paper. And last but not least, we have our vitamins and minerals. Most, but not all of these are needed for normal human functioning. There's B-complex vitamins, biotin, CoQ10, folate, magnesium, and vitamins A, B12, E, K, and zinc. Oof, that was a lot. So let's take a look under a microscope and see what we actually find. And man, there is definitely a lot of stuff in here. And since it's all blended up, I truly doubt we're going to identify too many specific ingredients. But hey, at least it's quite nice to look at. One of the first things I noticed are these green Cheeto Puff looking things. This is spirulina, and AG1 is absolutely packed with it. If you've ever tasted raw spirulina, you'll know that this is actually where AG1 gets most of its flavor from, like it or not. I personally enjoy the flavor of the beverage, but I have had friends who find it slightly diabolical. Given that this is the first ingredient listed, it makes sense that it's everywhere. You'll also notice all these funky green, brown, and clear-shaped objects. These are clearly the remnants of blended large organisms. You can see pieces that resemble fiber sections of plant roots, like rhodiola root. A lot of these green cells and objects would be the chloroplast from green leaves and plants. And this bundle of circular cells appears to be chlorella, a microalgae that actually isn't mentioned on their website, but is clearly on their list of ingredients. This actually led me to realize there are quite a few ingredients not listed on their site that are listed on their packaging, such as spinach, pea protein isolate, and stevia, to name a few. Now, obviously none of these ingredients are really bad for you, but I'd be curious to know exactly why they weren't directly mentioned. But what is clear is that there is indeed a smorgasbord of stuff in this green powder. Some of the less translucent substances could be the minerals, and there's clearly lots of plant material, algae, fungi, and bacteria. But speaking of bacteria, that is one thing that I noticed was not as plentiful as I was expecting. I remember looking at kombucha under the microscope, which I also made a video on, and seeing incredibly large colonies of bacteria and yeast. However, the lactobacillus that is supposed to be the primary probiotic in AG1 was quite difficult to find. Now, I'm not saying that there isn't any, nor that there isn't enough, since bacteria are tiny even by microscope standards, but I do think it's strange that a drink that is marketed as improving gut health doesn't have as many probiotics as I might have expected. So with that in mind, I went and checked out AG1's own promotional research on their website. And again, it was not at all what I expected. Now, I get it. Back in 2010, when this research came out, this company probably barely even existed. So I'm gonna give them a little leniency when it comes to their initial research. However, it does not mean that I'm not gonna moonlight as a pissed off biology teacher. So first of all, their experiment of 30 subjects taking AG1 over the period of 1 month. Not a lot of data, but enough to get some preliminary results. To give you some context, this is kind of equivalent to a phase 1 clinical trial for a pharmaceutical drug. A phase 3 trial with over 1,000 real humans is required to pass FDA regulations. Now, I'm gonna be honest, I have no idea what this graphic is trying to say. But what I think it shows is that AG1 has these 2 bacteria in it, and it increases the amount of this specific bacteria in their gut, which this makes sense. If you drink a bacteria, it's going to appear inside of your digestive system. So take from that what you will. Next, their in vitro study. This was an even smaller experiment with just 3 poo donors. Even weirder is that this was all done in a simulated digestive tract. 3 poo donors is probably not enough stool samples to draw any meaningful conclusions. Now, maybe I'm too stupid to understand why more serotonin in the gut is a good thing, as they claim, but my research actually indicates too much serotonin can actually cause nausea, diarrhea, and inflammation. Sounds pretty crappy to me. And finally, their observational study. In this, 35 healthy adult humans between the ages of 25 and 49 took AG1 for 3 months and then self-reported their results. Now, as somebody who is between the ages of 25 and 49 and think I'm pretty healthy, I'm gonna add myself that list of participants and bump that number up by 1. As a particularly gas-inclined individual, I would not say that I noticed any differences in gas or bloating since taking AG1, nor would I say that I had any more or less energy since I took it. But keep in mind that I was snowboarding every single day during that period of time, so maybe things would be different if people were behaving more normally. I also did not feel like I felt any calmer than I normally would. But again, I'm not exactly a calm person, so maybe my baseline is all skewed. I will definitely say that I was pooping great. Like, wow. It seemed like no matter what I ate, the next morning, my pipes were always clean. It was frankly unbelievable. No constipation, no diarrhea, just perfect poops. And this was even with my diet of the time consisting largely of chicken tenders and Del Taco. Next, I don't really know who tracks how often they crave things, but I would not say that my cravings changed at all, but maybe that's also because I obviously gave into my cravings. I will say that with the information they gave, we can't really tell how they conducted their studies, so I wouldn't necessarily trust these results. This could have all just been a big placebo effect. So finally, it's time to answer the question, is the $80 a month that this stuff costs worth it? Like any good politician, my answer is going to be maybe, and here's why. There's clearly some research for each of the ingredients listed in their recipe, but there is no information on the quantities of these ingredients. And this is important since each research paper tests an extremely specific and generally large quantity of this ingredient to see if there's any effects from it. It's tough to know whether or not AG1 even provides enough of each ingredient to provide their supposed benefit. The experiments that they conducted on their website also seem kind of bad, but admittedly, it is extremely hard to study any food-related effects on human health. However, in my personal experience, it was beneficial towards my life. It helped my digestive system work better, it was a great conversational topic amongst friends, and I enjoyed the flavor. It's also most likely the case that nothing in this drink is going to hurt you, so at least it doesn't cause any harm. Looking on Amazon, their most popular super greens powder is this Greens Blend by Amazing Grass, which sounds like something you might find in a California dispensary. It looks basically the same, tastes just as mediocre, and suspiciously has very, very similar substances inside of it. In fact, it actually seems to have better probiotic content, and under a microscope, it looks quite similar, except for the fact that it doesn't have quite as much spirulina. And this imitation costs less than 25% of the cost of AG1. They say that imitation is the greatest form of flattery, and I think in this case, it's the best form of capitalism. If AG1 is Tylenol, all the copycats are Kirkland Signature. So if you're trying to decide whether or not you want to hop on the trend of drinking some dried, blended plants, I would recommend just buying a single pack, trying it for a month, and seeing how you feel. Every single body reacts differently to every single thing you put in it. And the crazy thing is, the placebo effect might even just be worth it. Thanks again for watching this episode of Not So Small. Let me know if there's anything else you want me to investigate. There's a lot of stuff out there.